Valerie sat with her head bowed. She knew perfectly well that she shouldn't have come here. Even if her mother-in-law had left something for her grandson, her husband would take it anyway. He has another woman now. He only looks at her. Robert hadn't just forgotten he had a son, but he'd also saddled Valerie with huge mortgage debts. Actually, it all turned out so strangely. The apartment they bought, it turns out, will now be for Robert and his mistress. And Valerie is just supposed to pay the debt. Of course, she could have stayed, even lived there with police help. But Robert and his woman said they would make her life hell. And if she had even a shred of pity for the child, she should just quickly get lost. She knew perfectly well what her husband was capable of. She had learned in 2 years of life. Her mother-in-law always felt sorry for her and said, "Sweetie, why did you marry him? You've ruined your life." Eleanor supported her as best she could, but so her son wouldn't know. Robert had long been running the family business, pushing his mother out. But in one thing, Eleanor was unwavering. She did not sign the business over to her son, no matter how hard he tried to persuade her. Once, Valerie heard their conversation. "Mom, I don't understand why you need this hassle with taxes. I handle everything myself anyway." "Robert, I asked you not to start this conversation. You can think of it as my guarantee of a good old age. A good one, not on the street with hobos. You think so highly of me, exactly as I am. You understand I'm right. When I die, then formalize it. Do what you want." Business, of course, was a strong word. Eleanor had a workshop for making and repairing carpets. If it were developed, it probably could have become quite successful. It was the only such workshop in their city, and there were none in neighboring cities either. But Robert was more interested in taking all the money for expenses. He even allocated only a part for the mortgage. The rest was paid by Valerie and her mother-in-law. All property, all deposits, and the workshop itself go to Robert. Valerie shuddered. Her husband laughed. "Well, that's only logical. So, Val, how will you pay my mortgage? Lily and I have places to spend money. Though, why am I asking? The mortgage is already in your name, so pay." Now they laughed together. The notary looked at Valerie with sympathy. "And for you, your mother-in-law left a letter." A new burst of laughter echoed through the office. "Now Val will read it." "Oh, hold on and sob. You and my mother were just the perfect pair. Get your things from the apartment by tonight." Valerie looked up at her husband, who would soon be her ex. "I took everything. You can live and not worry about a thing." Robert stopped smiling. His eyes narrowed angrily. "You're getting too bold." The notary stood up. "Robert, leave the office." Robert snorted. "Yeah, we're leaving. Leaving. Nothing more for us to do here." Valerie left a minute later, sat on a chair, and decided to read what her mother-in-law had written to her. "My girl, don't be afraid of anything. I've taken care of you and my grandson. I couldn't give any sign, so my son wouldn't find out. Read carefully what to do. From this same notary, you will receive a package. It contains documents proving you paid off the entire mortgage. When you divorce, submit this to the judge so the apartment goes to you. The notary is aware. He will help formalize everything correctly. In court, say you are selling it immediately. You don't need to stay and live in it. In the city I'm from, my first love lives. We always kept in touch. He helped me from a distance. So, right after the divorce, go there, find him. He will show you your apartment and a small workshop, just like here. It's already operational, and it's up to you how things go from there. The package contains money. It will be enough for you and your grandson for a couple of years. Well, and then on your own. I couldn't withdraw more unnoticed. And please, if you ever decide to marry again, choose a good man. I hope everything works out for you. And Robert, he's just a carbon copy of his father. You can't erase genes. I hope, rather I'm sure, you will handle everything. Leave. Be sure to leave. When you are standing firmly on your own feet, people like my son won't be a threat to you. Robert, like his father, can only hurt those weaker than him." Valerie wiped her eyes, sat for another minute, and returned to the notary's office. The elderly man smiled. "You seem like a completely different person. I hope it stays that way." Valerie left the building, and immediately got into a taxi. She had ordered it in advance, so as not to torment Evan. He was incredibly tired as it was. The car stopped at a beautiful small house. "We're here." The driver, a young man, turned to her. "Get out quietly so you don't wake your son, and I'll help bring the things in." Valerie smiled back. "Thank you so much." A man in his 60s hurried to the car. Judging by his age, he was Eleanor's first love. The taxi driver handed Valerie a business card. Call any time, day or night. I'll come right away. Thank you very much. The car drove away, and Valerie turned to the man. Well, hello, ... Hello, Valerie. Come into the house. You must be tired. Yes, a little. Oh, I almost forgot. My name is Stephen. That's how my parents joked with me. The man was very pleasant and polite. I'll feed you now, and today you rest. Tomorrow, Alice, my sister, will come. A wonderful woman. Worked all her life in a kindergarten, and now terribly misses children. So, she will sit with your son, and we will take care of business. Alice indeed turned out to be a wonderful woman. She somewhat resembled Eleanor. Just as kind, quiet, but quite strong. She immediately, literally, fell in love with Evan. My God, what a miracle. Will we be friends? We will. 3-month-old Evan smiled a toothless smile, greatly endearing his new nanny. You, Valerie, take care of business and don't worry. Everything will be perfectly fine. We'll eat, go for walks, and everything else. Valerie just smiled. She was in complete bewilderment. Complete strangers surrounded her with such care and attention as she had never seen in her entire life. Stephen explained how to ensure that what Eleanor left her wouldn't be divided during the divorce. And things got moving. Nicholas waited for her at the gate every morning, drove her to work, picked her up, and didn't take money from her. Valerie felt terribly awkward. Stephen chuckled. Oh, Valerie, you've broken the heart of the local taxi driver. Valerie laughed, embarrassed. And he only recently became a taxi driver. Their factory closed. He worked there as an engineer. Oh, what details. And what is he like himself? Valerie frowned diligently. That's the last thing on my mind right now. And then there's the divorce ahead. A meeting with Robert. I need to think about that. Valerie also didn't move into the apartment Eleanor had bought for her yet, so no one would know about it. She plunged headfirst into the workshop affairs, and there was a lot of work, because the workshop was just starting. Part of the money her mother-in-law left, Valerie invested in the business. They expanded a bit, bought different materials, and placed ads. Turnover grew. People were surprised, told others how well and inexpensively they could order a carpet. Valerie felt they lacked people. They were running out of space, but the divorce was scheduled in a month. The first time they refused to divorce because the child was small. But Valerie no longer wanted to bear Robert's surname. She felt free, strong, capable of anything. Finally, a date was set. Valerie was getting ready to go to the city she came from. Alice gave instructions. Valerie, hold your head high. Give it to him there, so he won't dare hurt women again. Stephen said. I'll go too. Who else will support? And I do have education and experience. Nicholas, who often dropped by for tea now, said with a smile. Well then, I'll drive you all. And I'll support you, of course, however I can. Valerie looked at them in bewilderment, then burst into tears. My dears, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Nicholas looked at Valerie bewildered. Not just bewildered, but even somewhat frightened. He completely didn't understand what to do now, but he really didn't like Valerie crying. Alice also sniffled, whimpered over Evan. Stephen stood up. Well, that's enough. Enough dampness. You women are a strange folk. Everything is fine. Why shed tears? Robert was angry as hell. After all, constantly siphoning money from the workshop had yielded results. Now there was nothing to pay salaries with. People were leaving, remembering him with bad words. And now Val shows up. Well, he definitely didn't expect that. They said to wait for the deadline. He brushed it off. Wait. So wait. But now this nutcase herself is demanding a divorce. He thought she was sobbing under a fence, but she wants a divorce. Interesting. Maybe she hopes to snatch something else from him. Yeah, right. Nonsense. What can she snatch? The apartment. But he explained it clearly to Val. What would happen then? No. Something else is going on. Most likely, she decided to remind him of herself this way. Maybe she still hopes to return, but he has no time at all. Robert had forgotten when he last got enough sleep. At the workshop during the day, and partying with Lily in the evening. She never gets tired either. Just loves throwing money around, and soon there will be no money left. Robert thought about all this, sitting in the courtroom waiting for Valerie. Lily, of course, sat next to him, making sure nothing happens without her. Rob, she's coming. Look, he looked up. Valerie entered the room. Something intangible had changed in her. Posture, gaze. She had cut and dyed her hair a different color. Clothes somewhat unusual for her. Generally, if he met her on the street, he might have passed by without recognizing her, although he probably would have noticed. Oh, interesting. How did she manage that? Valerie wasn't alone. With her was an elderly man who, it turned out, would defend her rights in court. Well, she scraped up money for a lawyer somewhere, and some young guy. That one put Robert on edge. It can't be that Val already got herself a boyfriend. She basically can't get anyone. She's not like that. Lily leaned toward Robert's ear. Look, your wife is no slouch. How long has it been? Only 4 months. Oh, shut up. And Lily turned away offended, and Robert thought with anguish that he would now have to beg for forgiveness. He saw the elderly man handing some papers to the judge. The judge looked, nodded, and banged the gavel. Throughout the hearing, Robert felt like this wasn't happening to him. What are you talking about? That's my apartment. I'm not giving it to anyone. Listen, you. He rushed at Valerie, but her companion immediately stood between them, and a second later Robert was restrained. The trial ended. Robert understood he was left without a home. What's going on? What nonsense. And she's putting his apartment up for sale. Well, what are we going to do? Lily stood nearby. I guess I'll go back to my mom's for now. Well, while you sort out your problems. To your mom. I thought we were together, and would solve problems together. Me? Are you kidding? I have enough of my own problems. Why would I need yours? Robert watched Lily leave. He had one way out. He needed to give her the money for the apartment. The last thing he needed was to end up on the street. He saw on some website that in another city there was a workshop just like his. Only successful. His was dead anyway. He needed to go and offer to sell his to them. They should agree, to avoid competitors. Robert rushed home to find the coordinates. He had 2 weeks for everything. Please come in. They are expecting you. The girl smiled sweetly at him, and Robert thought, what are they doing here that makes the workshop so in demand? He saw construction was in full swing in the yard, meaning they were expanding. 3 days ago, he sent his proposal, and today he was invited for talks and possibly to close the deal. They say the director-owner is a very young girl. Oh, if only he could start a romance with her. He entered and froze. Valerie was sitting at the desk. Well, why are you standing there? Come in. Valerie smiled. What, surprised to see me here? You ... You can't be. Valerie shrugged. Robert, if you have a proposal, then come in. Otherwise, sorry, I have a lot of work. He entered, sat down. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw the same young man sipping coffee in an armchair in the corner. He understood everything. He wouldn't gain anything here. Clearly, Valerie already knew all about the workshop's problems. Screw all of you. He jumped up and bolted out of the office. Valerie looked at the door in surprise. Nicholas came over to her. Don't worry, I'll go talk to him. We'll convince him, come to an agreement. He's truly in a hopeless situation, so we'll even have time to revive your mother-in-law's workshop before our wedding. Valerie smiled, pressed her cheek to his hand. She had no doubts. If he promised, he would definitely do it. Thank you for watching until the end. If you liked the story, I hope for your support with a thumbs up. All the best.